to be filled with Social Security and Medicare. All right, so if you see FICA on your paycheck stub, which you will whenever, or if you are already getting a paycheck stub, FICA taxes will be on there, Social Security and Medicare. All right, and then federal income tax, that's going to be simply discretionary programs. Now, what does it mean for something to be discretionary?
Like on the low, like it's, I don't know. Yeah,
Do what?
he said it's discreet.
If it's at your discretion, then you can,
It's kind of like your decision.
yeah,
Yeah, your decision, right?
I'm saying you're thinking discreet.
Yeah, so that's the idea. You have mandatory programs. Your mandatory programs are Social Security and Medicare. And then discretionary programs is at the discretion or the decision of the administration in power at the point in time, right? Like the example I always use is like, whenever, the Obamas were in the White House, right? Like you had a large focus on like the educational side of things, school lunches. That was a big thing that Michelle Obama wanted to focus on. You know, I would say, maybe with Trump, he was focusing more so on the military. So you might see more money being allocated to military spending, maybe more so than the Biden administration, whatever, right? Like, you get the point. Discretionary programs change with the ebbs and flows as to who's in power at the point in time. And then of course, like I just said, mandatory and discretionary spending. Mandatory spending is just Medicare and Social Security, and then discretionary spending is going to be all the rest being covered by your federal income taxes. All right. Yep, I know it's exciting stuff. Let's see. Oh, what a face! Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right. Mainly just want to get to the pay stub at the end. Let's go here.
What are these numbers? Does your pay stub look like gibberish? Let's dive in and learn how to read. Hi, it's Leslie at Gusto, and today we're going to talk about how to read your pay stub. First of all, pay stubs can look a little different. This depends on the state that you're in and the payroll provider. We're going to use a sample from Gusto, but yours could be formatted a little bit differently. So the main formula you're going to see on your pay stub is your gross pay minus your pre-tax deductions, minus employee paid taxes, minus post-tax deductions equals net pay. And net pay is the money you take home at the end of the day. Okay.
Right, yeah, we know the difference between gross pay and net pay. Gross pay is basically the advertised pay is what you would get. Net pay is everything comes out, taxes, deductions, all of that stuff. That's what you really get paid.
Okay, let's define some terms. Gross pay is the big number. It is your salary, it's what you earn for the whole pay period. Pre-tax deductions are things like health insurance and 401k. These are contributions that are taken out before taxes are calculated on your pay stub.
Taking out your paycheck before, obviously, as we can see, right?
Then employee taxes. These are state and federal income taxes, Social Security and Medicare, state disability in some states, and local taxes in some areas. Then post-tax deductions are things like garnishments, if that applies to you. Do all the math, subtract those out, and you're left with your net pay. What about other numbers on your pay stub? Employers actually might include some reimbursements. That's if you bought something for the business and you just need to be paid back for it. You might also see employer contributions to insurance, like health insurance or 401k, and
Two examples of employer contributions, health insurance and 401k, as it is pointed out, right? Like your employer might contribute and help with health insurance as well as your 401k. Certain employers are known to even match what you contribute to your 401k up to a certain percentage. So could be that.
and employer paid taxes. Employer paid taxes include FICA, which is Social Security and Medicare, and state and federal unemployment. And that's it.
She's about high five, but she's about high five. see anybody right there. Alright, so let's keep on, wow, that was really short. How about that? Okay. Alright, let me see what you guys think about these before, now, obviously, I don't expect you to really know all of these, maybe not any of them. Let's see where we're at, just prior to going through them. See what tax form you think they are, because you will know what these 5 tax forms are, by the end of this week, for certain. Alright. Arrived in the mail or electronically in January, there's one of me for every job you work as an employee. I tell you how much you earn, how much you already paid in taxes. Any guesses? Don't have to be right, it's fine.
Oh, you're right.
Are there any we think we could try and guess?
Resume? Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, alright, so look, our options here, I'll read through all these and I'll let you know our options. We don't necessarily have to fill them out, I just want you to get, familiar with the terms first. I'm gonna let you know what each one means, throughout this, alright. I arrived in the mail or electronically in January. You get me if you are not an employee or paid by a company. You sold investments, you received dividend or interest payments, you earned other types of income. Probably didn't withhold taxes from my earnings, so you may have a big tax bill coming up. My filing deadline is in April. Most people who earned income last year should complete me. There's a lot to fill out. Your employer asks you to complete me when you start a new job. You list information about yourself and your family on me. I determine how much money is taken out of each paycheck. And then your employer asks you to complete me when you start a new job. Must use me to prove that you're eligible to work in the US. You must provide identification when submitting me. Okay, you got a 1040 form up there, W-2, W-4, 1099, and an I-9. Alright. Who in here has a job right now? Like a legitimate, like you getting paid?
You're paid by the state.
You paid by the state? Okay, yeah. So then you've most definitely encountered, what do you do?
I'm a lifeguard at the Lewisburg Rec Center. I guess that's.
I'm gonna work at Duck Canoe and mow grass.
You what?
I got 2 jobs. I mow grass and I work at Duck Canoe.
Okay.
And then McDonald's.
Okay. I know for certain y'all two, y'all two definitely encountered one of these things, and depending upon how long you've worked at this job, you've gotten this other thing as well too. I mean, heck, it's just happened to work out this way. Is there anything special about this week pertaining to taxes?
Tax week?
Deadline, yep, deadline. The deadline is Wednesday, April 15th. That is the yearly or annual, whatever you wanna say, annual deadline. That is in reference to taxes there. Now, obviously, you can request to have an extension or whatever if, the circumstances require that. But, yeah, April 15th is that usually agreed upon date there. All right, so this first one here, W-4, is what we're gonna see right here.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, right. This video is made for employers. Consider the information presented from an employee perspective and then answer the question. So, whoever your boss is at Lewisburg Rec Center, it's made for them, perspective-wise, but look at it, from the perspective of yourself, the employee.
Confused about Form W-4? Well, we've got answers. Hi, this is Leslie Augusto, and today we're going to answer your top W-4 questions. What is a W-4? Form W-4 is something that your employees fill out on their first day of work. It's how you know how much income tax they want withheld from their paycheck and what you got to get off to the IRS.
All right, which of the following statements about this W-4 form is true? We're gonna select all that apply. Purpose of the form is to provide employees with reported wage and salary information. Could be. This form is given to employees every January. We know that's not true. This form is given to employees on their first day of the job. The purpose of the form is to let employers know how much money to withhold from an employee's paycheck for taxes. Alright, those two things right there. On your first day on the job, and then let the employers know how much money to withhold from your paycheck for taxes. Because you can choose how much you wanna withhold, right? That's why whenever it comes about time, you submit your taxes and everything, you either get, a refund. You know, if you get a tax refund, that's great. That means you paid more than you needed to, and so the IRS, sends you money back. They'll be slow about that, from time to time. And then if you didn't send enough, they will, charge you whatever they think, you owe at that point in time. It's kind of a crazy concept. If you ask, it's like, well, how much do I owe for taxes? And they're like, I don't know, man. And then you send whatever it is, your CPA or TurboTax person says, send or, whatever. And then you ask them then, it's like, well, we didn't know then, but hey, you owe money now. Like, the biggest scam in the world. That's why taxes, it's like everybody gets pissed off about it because nobody actually knows, like, how much do I actually owe? I don't know. Like, it's ridiculous. But that's just the reality of the situation that we live in. So, it sucks, but gotta get used to it. But Form W-4, given to you on your first day, let employers know how much you want withheld.
How do I know how much income tax to withhold? The W-4 is a worksheet that your employees fill out that have questions about their life that they know how to answer. When does your team have to fill it out? They have to fill it out on their first day of work, and they can also update it if they have life events that change their answers to the form.
Yeah. Alright, so Miguel has been working at his job for 3 years, already filled out a W-4 when he was first hired. This year, he just got married and is planning on filing his taxes jointly with his spouse. What should he do? Should he email his HR department that they need to update his W-4, keep the same information on W-4, request to fill out a new W-4 from his employer, wait till next April to fill out a new W-4? I mean, come on. Yeah. Anything happens to you life event wise, whether you get married, get a new house, somebody, maybe you have a spouse, maybe he or she passed away, that's stuff right there that can alter your tax filing status, how much you owe in taxes, stuff of that nature. So be smart to fill out a new W-4.
Can you help your team with it? Technically, you actually can't give them any help with the questions on the form, but as always, you can support them and be their cheerleader.
She's gonna say you can be their cheerleader. She's talking about the employer, be the employee's cheerleader, and she's gonna be dressed like a cheerleader. Y'all wanna see?
No, please don't.
As they get it done. Form W-4. So what's on Form W-4? It's gonna ask your employees things like their name, address, social security number.
Where'd the panda costume come from?
The heck?
Yeah, no, that's why I wanted to see this to me, because I knew there was something weird about it, but yeah. Where'd that come from? You will need to include all the following information on a W-4 form, except, alright, name and address, yes, you will need that. Earned income from previous job, I don't know what that one, social security number, yeah. Marital status, yep. Earned income from previous job, yeah, you don't need to put that on there. Yeah, I still don't know where that panda costume came from. Alright, so this is just a quick little snippet look at what a W-4 looks like here. Obviously, you can see there's a lot of information here. It's, come on now, we're gonna scroll slowly, not like that. Bruh. Stop. There we go. So you can see, it gets your name up here, your address, city, state, zip, all that. You've got your filing status here, single or married, filing separately, married, filing jointly, or qualifying, surviving spouse.
Are there benefits to being married?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, in the same vein of like, the federal government also incentivizes single motherhood as well too.
Yes, they do.
So,
Yes, they do.
don't get me on a tangent on that.
Yeah.
But,
I agree with you on that one.
yeah, but there are certain advantages, with that, but, there's also advantages to being single as well too. But there's always gonna be advantages, disadvantages to each situation there. But you can see in here, you throw in your total income, your, how much you claim on dependents. Obviously, you got to read through the entirety of the thing. Most of it is honestly just instructions. Like the big thing of this right here is just instructions on what you need to do, how to estimate, whatever numbers you need to throw in there. And you can throw in whatever numbers here. And then of course, signing it, your employer's signature, all that good stuff. So it's not a lot to fill out, but it does, it feels like it can overwhelm you if you don't really know, what you're doing there. Let's see. What I wanna do here. Is that it? No way, that's not it. That's it, okay. Well, W-4 form. So if we were to go to this right here, we should at least be able to throw in where W-4 goes. Where does the W-4 form go?
The first one. There's one. Oh, no, second to last.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bingo. W-4 goes down here. Right. Alright, so W-4 form started when completed when you start a new job. You're only gonna do it once, unless you start a new job or family situation or anything like that happens to change. Listing information about yourself and your family, how much you want withheld from your paycheck in taxes. Alright, so that is your W-4 form.